And welcome to this week's episode of Geekside DW. I'm shortening the name because it's so much easier to say that way. Today is a
Dear
special.
white people.
Yeah, that actually works. Today's a special, mostly dark side only episode. Because we're going to be talking about Dear White People, the movie and the series, because apparently it's a point of contention amongst a lot of people we know and all over the internet because thousands of white people, I'm going to say it, canceled their Netflix subscriptions just based on a trailer, which, mind you, means they didn't know anything about the property at all, including the movie that came first, and then followed up by the series, which were both phenomenal and, contrary to popular belief, not racist in the least bit. As per usual, I am David Jackson. Today's show is including
Cajun Prime.
and apparently Jeannie's going to sit in the room and not say anything.
That's okay. She's pretty. We just look at her.
So anyway, getting right into it. Dear White People's been out. The movie about what, 2 years now, 3 years. I
At least 3.
finally watched it over the winter, and was completely in love with it. It was a great show.
That's colored people time for those of you that aren't aware.
Amen. The movie covers a lot of things, and I understand that the title is a bit shocking. And people write it off immediately because they're like, oh, it's Dear White People, it's offensive to white people. Watch the damn movie. It's not offensive to white folks at all. This movie covers a broad spectrum of diversity, including black people, white people, biracial people, homosexuality, people coming to terms with their homosexuality, people not being black enough, people being too black, people dating white people, being black and not accepting the fact that they're black.
Self-hating black people, bougie black people. I mean, it's not...
Broad spectrum. It covers the fact that, like, being black in 2017, 2016 means that you have to live up to a certain ideal, especially being young black and in college with a lot of people. What a lot of people don't realize is the stress that's put on young black kids nowadays. This movie illustrates that very well. I mean, you have your main character, Sam, who is the character that you go into the movie and the sequel, because the TV series is a direct sequel. It takes place about a half hour after the first movie.
And before.
And it goes
back and forth. It brings, like, the whole thing together.
They do a very good job of continuing this timeline. Sam is a character that you kind of love to disagree with and love to agree with at the same time, because there's a lot of shit that this girl says. Like, she hosts a radio show called Dear White People. The entire premise of the movie is, like, she has this radio show that's supposed to be extremely offensive, and white people across the board on campus hate it. But if you listen to what she's saying,
not just white people.
Yeah, black people hate it too.
The dean's a black guy.
Black dude, and he's all about control. Mm-hmm. He's all about a system of power.
And then once you get to the sequel in the show, the Black Student Union
doesn't like it.
They can't stand it. So it's not a...
Well, then you listen to what she's saying, and a lot of it is very true. It's things that we all deal with on a regular basis as black people. That you might not understand are racially charged things. You might not get are borderline offensive. And then if we're offended by it, you get upset because no one told you, or because you feel we shouldn't be offended by it as a person that's not a person of color. Being black, let me tell you, the one thing I cannot stand is people asking to touch my goddamn hair. That shit gets annoying really fucking fast. Like, if I'm in your lap and asking for my head to be rubbed, that's one thing. If I'm getting my hair braided, that's one thing. But if you just walk up to me and say, hey, can I touch your hair? That's not cool. That's not cool. Or other things, and they don't really cover this in the show or the movie. If you're tanning and you say the words, I'm almost as dark as you, that shit is offensive as fuck.
I think that might have been referenced one time in just a really casual, I can't remember.
It might just have been in passing.
Yeah, it might have, I don't know. It sounds like I heard it at some point recently.
But anyway, Sam's show covers all that type of stuff, telling you what you can, what she finds acceptable, and I mean, a lot of it is from her own personal experience.
I can't be mad at white people with her showing me shit like that.
What are you doing? Oh, Jesus.
Right. right?
Sweet Christmas.
Can't do this right now.
Should video record this too. You guys can see what's going on. But we move on from Sam to characters like, because yet again, Sam is one of those characters that you love to agree with and you love to disagree with. She's the heart of controversy in the show. Because,
She's like teetering on the line.
well, you find out that she's interracial, which you do not know that from the beginning. Looking at the girl, you can kind of, like, it's kind of obvious, but
You could guess it.
you find out later that she is indeed interracial, and that she's...
It's biracial the word you're looking for.
Huh?
It's biracial the word you're looking for.
Interracial,
biracial. Biracial.
Multiracial.
Yes.
Whatever. She's biracial. You find that out later, and I was saying interracial because that's actually what I was leading into next, and that she's she's biracial and she's in an interracial relationship,
And in a closet.
and yes, not talking about it. Most of her, actually, they don't find out to the end of the movie, right? Because that leads into the beginning of
until after the fact. Well, a couple people knew-ish.
Right.
Reggie obviously knew.
Reggie
from the
knew,
movie,
and then one of her best friends knew that.
but he didn't say anything because he operated under that whole, that's your business code.
Right,
I'm
right.
not going to go put you on blast. It was in the show where somebody Instagrammed her.
Oh, her boyfriend.
Oh, no,
himself,
her boyfriend
himself
yeah,
did it.
tagged her in an Instagram.
Yeah, when Bay walks away.
And the whole school went nuts.
Yeah.
Because here this chick with her Dear White People radio show is dating a white guy.
And this is something that is a major...
She's me with tits.
Yeah.
Like, wait a second.
It's a major point of controversy, though, if you look at it. And this is actually a thing, too, that's been going around. I don't know if you've seen it or not, Cajun. Jeannie and I have talked about it. I've talked about it with other people. Lately, there's been this thing on the internet where there's polls, there's radio shows and everything that's like, can you be black, woke, and in an interracial relationship? And the answer is, I can do what the fuck I want to do. Yes, actually, you can. Being black, being self-aware, and knowing the problems that our people go through, and that we go through, and that I might go through myself, doesn't mean that being with a white woman, that I don't understand that. This persecution has been there my entire life. It's going to continue to be there.
A lot of black people don't understand that, which is coincidentally a point in the show.
Right.
Because there are black women in the show pissed off that she's not dating the eligible black bachelors on campus.
Right,
It's
and
a
then there's a
huge
lot of
thing.
black men that are upset about it too. It's a thing, and see, this is what I was getting at with this show being for everyone, because like what people don't understand is that is something, and Cajun can tell you this, I can tell you this, this is something that we have put up with our entire lives because of dating outside of our race per se. Like people seem to have a problem with it, and again, it's none of your damn business. Like,
it's
and
not
it's
even-
more so black folks that give us a problem about it than it is white people.
That today maybe, but
Yeah.
I was gonna say it's not as bad as it was for my dad had his apartment Molotov for dating a white woman way back when.
Right, and it just doesn't make any damn sense.
So a lot of dumb shit I might say, or I don't know if he genetically passed on his racisms. Because I tell you, man, sometimes I know I can get on my rants. Shit, I can't post about syrup without pissing people off.
Yeah, but I mean,
But no, he legitimately, his apartment was Molotov. He got arrested once.
yeah, and I mean, and that's always going to be. I mean, we were just talking about it before we started the show. There's a movie called Loving that is exactly about that subject. It's about an interracial relationship to where people got arrested for just wanting to be with each other, and that was in the early '60s, late '50s, early '60s is when that movie takes place. But this is a thing that happens. Like, we are questioned daily for being who we're with. And it doesn't make any damn sense. Like, love is love is love is love, which like shouldn't matter. And again, I still understand the struggle because I still can't walk down the street with a hoodie on, and neither can Cajun, without being looked at sideways. And a lot of people may listen to this and say, "Oh, well, I can't do that either." Yeah, you can. You might not think that you can, but yes, you can. You can walk down the street in your own neighborhood, mind you, with a hood on, and people aren't going to look at you sideways.
We can't sit on our porches.
Right. Can't sit on the porch. My brother walked to our older house. Our brother walked around the corner from Circle K to my house and got followed by the police. Asked if he lived at the house while he's sitting on the porch with the light on, drinking a Polar Pop. Apparently, you can't do that. But You know, this stuff doesn't happen to us. Anyhow, moving on from that.
Anybody gonna eat the rest of that cheesy bread? Cheesy bread.
We have Coco. Let's get into Coco, because Coco, honestly, as much as I hate her, Coco is one of my favorite characters in the show.
Dude, the development for her in the show.
Right.
I hated the fuck out of her at the end of the movie. I
Oh, yeah.
stand her.
Well, Coco is dating the top black dude on campus. He's the dean's son. He's running for class office. He's got like the perfect GPA, hardcore like sports player. Like he's the everyman of black people. Like you look at this cat and you're like, that dude is gonna be somebody.
But he got daddy issues.
But he has daddy issues, and you find that out later. But Coco is the straight-haired, wearing the latest fall fashions, like straight out of fucking the magazines.
Vogue magazine, Cosmo.
Straight up, like that. Coco is that girl. Like you find out eventually that Coco came from the hood. Coco had it hard just like the rest of us, but Coco hates herself because of that. She hates the color of her skin. Actually, what we should have gotten into was the what the whole outcome of the movie is because of Sam's show, Dear White People. One of the houses on campus, one of the frat houses on campus, decides to throw a party called Dear Black People, and the party, which was canceled, and we'll get to that in a minute, and reignited by a certain character, was
It was a blackface party.
was a blackface party, and this is based on something that happened for real. I mean, the show is fiction, but the party was based on something that did happen at a college campus in the States. Look it up. There was indeed a blackface party, and like I'm talking, like these people showed up in braids and fucking blackface paint and like acting like rappers, carrying fake guns, sipping gin and juice, had a DJ, the whole nine, and black people, as you may expect, were pissed off about it because it's not cool. That's not something that you do. And the fact, that the party was canceled and the invite went out and people still showed up, that's what should piss you off. The fact that people were still like, oh, this is a cool thing to do. And nobody seemed to have a problem with it. But Coco shows up at said party.
She was helping promote it.
Helping promote it,
She was trying to
yeah.
get on the board of the...
Oh, that's right.
that
Yeah, she was trying to get on our house.
Mm-hmm.
Coco shows up at said party in a blonde wig, essentially trying to dress like a white girl, while everybody else was in blackface around her. And she didn't seem to have a problem with it. Externally. And then obviously the party gets crashed by everybody black on campus because, that's what we all would have done. To be blunt, like a lot of you guys know both of Cajun and I, and we're very yin and yang. Cajun's the outspoken angry black guy. I'm the angry black guy that's going to say something to you if you piss me off enough.
But throw one of these goddamn parties.
Throw one of these parties and you're going to find out both of us are very, very mean.
It's not funny.
That said, when you get into Coco in the series versus the movie, you see the depth of her character. You see the fact that she's with Troy because she's trying to better herself through her own means, which is all backhanded. She doesn't love Troy. She loves the idea of Troy. She loves the idea of being with a powerful man because she wants to be that powerful woman behind that powerful man. So she put herself through hell to do it. And you kind of sympathize with the character on the same note of watching her and going, fuck this bitch. Like, I wouldn't say necessarily a bad person. She just has bad ways. Because you do find out through the series that her and Sam were initially best friends. Which was really weird to get there and go, wow, holy shit, man. These two, were best friends. They were essentially sisters. And then, actually in the series, you find out that there was a shooting of an unarmed black teenager. And that's what drove Sam into being the person she is. She was always there. But there was never that catalyst to make her go, I need to speak up.
Well, there was other characters, too, that helped push her there.
Oh, yeah. I mean, the rest of the Black Student Union and all that. And
not the Black Student Union. I'm trying not to spoil the show, because I would rather people that haven't seen it to watch
you really need to watch the show.
And digest it without having...
Yeah, you don't want... Honestly, don't go into this with preconceived notions, so we're going to try not to spoil a whole lot of it.
My big thing is... My favorite thing about this show is it makes you comfortable with the topic.
Yeah.
and suddenly remind you it's not a topic that you should be comfortable with.
Right. But it is something that needs to be talked about.
Oh, definitely.
And it's something that, based on watching the show, you need to be able to have these conversations. And actually, I think somebody on your wall, when you were talking about it, said something along the lines of he hated all the characters in the movie. And like, do you like the characters any better? The entire point of the movie is for you to hate everybody. There's one character that you're not supposed to hate. And by the time you get to the series, you still don't hate him. Actually, he's probably the best character on the show, which we'll get to him in a minute. Coco's story is fleshed out really, really well.
Yeah, the fact that they were able to make me empathize with someone I hated so goddamn much.
Like, this is the type of girl that if we had gone to school with her, if we knew her now, I wouldn't talk to her. Wouldn't make eye contact with her, wouldn't invite her out, none of that shit. Do not like her. But as a character,
keep walking.
Right.
Like, it's
as a character, though, you don't sympathize with her, you empathize with her, you feel for her. Do we want to go to Troy next, or do we want to go to Lionel?
I mean, we just mentioned Lionel, might as well.
Yeah, jump into Lionel. I mean, we did talk about Troy a bit, so we'll get back to him. Lionel is the character we'll talk about next, who was played by, in the movie, the kid that was from Everybody Hates Chris, and he was one of the characters from The Walking Dead most recently. That's where everybody all recognizes. Yeah, everybody hates Chris.
Everybody hates Chris.
Spoiler alert, he gets killed in The Walking Dead, which, like everybody but fucking Rick and Carl have, so. Anyhow, Lionel is the black kid that we would have gone to school. Actually, Lionel, other than a big key element of the character, was me in school, growing up until junior high and high school.
The black kid caught in the middle
of
the militant black people, the non-militant black people,
and the white folks.
Like,
I don't know about some of you guys that are listening to this, but I can tell you right now, Cajun and I both have been called Oreo several fucking times in our lifetime, and I don't like it. It's not something that's cute. Just because I speak without using Ebonics all the time doesn't mean that I'm white on the inside. There's no such thing as talking white. I'm educated. There's a massive difference.
I was going to say, to be biracial and be called Oreo, that's one thing. I mean, there's still some negative connotation with that, right, but there's an obvious joke there that I can giggle at.
Right, but to be black and say you're white on the inside, or you're the whitest black guy I know, that's not cute. But that is Lionel's character if you look at him, especially when you first meet Lionel in the movie.
Well, shit, it's Troy's character too.
Yes and no. Yes, it's Troy's character around his father.
Because I was gonna say when he's
Troy when he's not with his dad is a completely different character. Troy, when he's not running for office, is a completely different character.
Smoking weed and drawing comics on toilet paper.
Right. But Lionel, when you first meet him, is, I'm talking like full-on black power fro. Like 70s afro. But he's also got on a fucking cardigan and a button-down sweater. And he's sitting by himself at the black lunch hall. Because that's the other thing about this movie is the houses are segregated. Now, it's not because
he wasn't originally in that hall.
Oh, yeah, he wasn't.
He was in the Boucher house, and they kept making fun of him for being gay.
Right. That's where we're going next.
And the dean didn't want to do anything about it because he didn't even want to recognize there was a gay issue.
Right.
That was ignored.
Right. In case you haven't picked up on it, Lionel is gay, which they kind of changed from the movie and the TV series. Is like in the movie we knew that when you first meet him. In the TV series, they made it seem like nobody else knew it but him.
Well, he was in a closet.
Yeah, the kid.
It just wasn't a focus of the movie.
Yeah,
like the movie itself didn't need to make that a point.
Right.
Which I'm actually happy with.
We do get much more of that in the show. Well, we get much more character development in the show too.
Yeah, for everybody.
So anyhow, when we brought up Lionel too, Lionel is the character in the movie and the show that is the most lovable character ever because again, he's trapped in the middle between not being black enough, between not being white and being gay. He's that character that you sympathize. You actually sympathize with him. You don't empathize with him. You sympathize with him. You feel everything that he's feeling. You feel for everything that he's doing because he's on the fence about a lot of shit. Like, he wants to take down... He's the reason... For those of you that haven't seen the movie, I am going to spoil this. He's the reason that the party gets broken up. Because he's the one that lets everybody know about it. Like, this mousy little skinny cat that, like, everybody either glances over or sees through.
No one notices him until they need something.
Right.
And it's worse for him because he's on the school newspaper.
Yeah, he's a writer. And he's the best writer on the school paper, and he wants to talk about the hard hitting issues, but his editor doesn't want him to. But he's that character that you're like, man, I dig it, and he's Troy's roommate. So you get to see a lot of that relationship, that friendship develop. And you honestly get to see some points of contention with him to where like you see that he has a thing for Troy, but he's afraid to say it.
I think he struggles with his sexuality too.
Yeah.
Not necessarily because he doesn't know.
Yeah,
but because he
episode 3.
Yeah, because
the party.
He doesn't know if he wants to try to fit in or if
Yeah.
he wants to be him, and it's this.
The party with that close up, where they were in the room. Are you even down with that?
Like, yeah,
I cracked the fuck up at that. She was asleep. I was surprised she didn't wake up. I laughed so hard.
But we're gonna repeat this. This is again. This show is not just about making fun of white people. There are so many layers of things,
right,
for you to dissect.
Right. I mean, we haven't even gotten to the actual white people in the show yet.
No, we
or
haven't.
Into the movie.
No, we've been talking for like a half hour now. So.
The first white person you meet in the movie is Sam's boyfriend, whose name escapes me.
Yeah, because you see him.
I can't remember his name.
I don't remember.
IMDb that shit.
That's not a plug.
We can't. But he's the first guy you meet, and actually when you meet him, it seems very weird because like him and
coworkers are fucking hilarious. That was her reply to that. Just
okay.
Right? Yeah. I don't know.
When you see, Jesus Christ, I can't remember where I was going now. Oh, when you first meet the boyfriend in the movie, it seems like Sam and him are having an argument about something, and then she pushes him down by the shoulders and makes him go down on her.
It's like the race issue is like foreplay for them. It's
yeah,
fun. It's fun
and like
to
they're
watch.
going back and forth, and then like you see like she's in control of the relationship, and then like has him sneak out of her room, and like nobody knows about it, and like you can see that it bothers him. We do get more of him in the series, which is great actually. You actually feel,
and actually he's stuck in the middle too.
Yeah,
you don't find that out in the movie.
You find that out later in the series.
But yeah, he'd be the white guy stuck in the middle to where Lionel's the black guy stuck in the middle.
Yeah, and the character development between the both of them is very, very good.
Dear White People is not perfect, but it's revolutionary. One day ago.
I mean, that's not entirely untrue.
How Dear White People dismantles the conservative myth about safe spaces.
Very true.
No, these are all like within the past 2 days. Like
people probably just finished it.
Yeah, so that leads me to believe that more people are starting to actually try to watch
it instead of just writing it off.
Cool. I don't have to be so angry while we're doing this. Let me get to what you asked me to get to. Boyfriend's name. Sorry, I'm getting.
I can't remember the other main white guy's name either. The leader of the pastiche.
Getting there too. Gabe is her boyfriend.
Gabe, that was it.
And then
something with an R, I feel like.
It's not listed here.
And mind you,
some dude named Connor. I don't remember a Connor. Who the fuck is Connor? Might have been the sidekick white kid.
And I'd like to point out that I realized that we're naming names of the black characters.
No, Connor. I was looking for the leader of the pastiche house.
Oh, I know. But what I'm saying is, like, we're naming names of the leader, of the black characters and everything, and we're having trouble remembering the white characters. That's not a racial thing. That is because the black characters are the standouts in the show, honestly. I mean, that's the entire point of the show. But then the white characters aren't necessarily supporting cast because everybody is still fleshed out. Because Gabe got a whole episode or two just about him. I forgot his name because it was such a generic name. Either way, like he, as a character, he loves Sam, and he feels like he really, really wants to be with her, but he's also threatened by, not necessarily her position, but her power, I'd say, like, because she's strong. And then he's also threatened by another character.
Interesting fact. That guy isn't even mentioned in the episode synopsis.
Really?
The Bechet House head. I'm looking through all the episodes. You see Lionel's name, you see Sam's name, Troy, Reggie, Coco's mentioned, Gabe's mentioned.
It's really weird because he's
A pivotal character.
a very big character.
I feel like there's a reason for that, though. I mean,
Maybe like I don't know.
yeah, no, he's not. He's not mentioned.
That's weird.
I'm sorry. Keep going.
No.
I'll find this guy's name in a second.
So anyway, let's talk about him for a minute. We can't remember his name right now. We're looking into it. It's a free podcast, folks. You can't complain.
Right.
But when you meet this guy, actually, when you meet him is with Lionel.
No, with Troy.
No, you meet him with Lionel first because he's the one that's calling.
All right, that's right.
He's the one that's leaving the voicemail,
The prank
making
voicemail.
fun. Yeah.
Yeah.
And like you just right off the bat realize this guy is a fucking cock.
I was right. The guy that plays Troy is the same actor. It's
Oh, is it the same one? He's the only one that came back?
Yep, Brandon Bell, same guy.
Huh.
Kurt.
That was
That's his name.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Fuck that guy. But when you meet Kurt, he's leaving voicemails for Lionel like that are very, very homophobic.
Homo bully.
Yeah.
There was no
he's
fear there
straight
whatsoever.
up like extreme hardcore dickhead about it. Like he just doesn't even try to hide it, and it's really annoying. Hold on, I'm picking up my recording device.
Please don't tell me to stop recording. Oh,
No,
man,
it's still recording.
I was about to be really sad.
No, it's still running.
When did it stop? No, they set the tone off quick to make you understand that this is a character you're going to hate.
You want to hate
You're
him.
never going to empathize with. Like, they make sure you know from
He
the back.
is the bad guy.
Yeah.
Now, mind you, there are going to be people that watch this show that understand him and like him. Those are people that I don't associate with. And if I do, and you're listening to this podcast, unfriend me. Because we're not supposed to be friends.
Yeah, they'll probably say the show is racist for making him the bad guy.
Yeah, but he's supposed to be. Now, mind you, the other white characters on the show, other than members of Pastiche and that's it, aren't necessarily supposed to. Even the bigwigs of the college aren't racist. They're just older and set in their ways, which, mind you, isn't necessarily a good thing. But I understand that a hell of a lot more than a 20-something being extremely racist or homophobic now.
The
That doesn't make
difference
any damn
between
sense.
malicious racism and
Passive, not knowing any better,
latent racism, institutionalized racism.
versus it actually being a part of who you are.
Yeah.
Kurt is the dude that, like, he's the one that wanted to snap back at Sam. He needed to get her back because she calls him out on something. I can't remember what it was in the movie, but she calls him out on something, and that's when he wants to do the Dear Black People party. And he organizes it, and like he's working with Coco on it too. And
Who's trying to get her own reality show? Which
that's what it was. Yes,
it's part of why she wants to be on his board, because the guy's like, you're not controversial enough.
Right.
She has a YouTube channel that's like about doing your makeup and
right. They didn't touch on that in the show. They never bring that back up.
yeah, because she ends up mimicking Sam's style to get more followers.
Yeah, but they never. Which you eventually find out that she's not necessarily mimicking Sam's style. That they essentially created Dear White People together without it being a show. Because they would just sit in their dorm room and do it.
That's right.
Essentially like what we're doing right now, except for like we're not making any money.
Pretty much. Yeah, no, yeah, good point. Yeah,
But and I don't see a scenario where the two of us will ever necessarily hate each other. But
I mean,
well, folks, that was a nice show. Signing off while I go kill this motherfucker.
hey, how you doing? This might be.
That's Will and Testament.
Yeah.
But Kurt is that dude that's always come from privilege. You can see it. He's always had mommy and daddy there to back him up, to get him out of trouble. Every time he said something, it wasn't his fault. He didn't do it. He was the type of dude that might have beat somebody up for their lunch money. No, he didn't. No, he didn't. Let me stop that. This motherfucker can't lift a finger to hit anybody.
Had his friends beat
somebody up. Had the bigger dude that he
money.
paid or something for lunch money, and then
But has no problem punching a scrawny gay kid in the mouth.
Right.
He's that guy.
he's that guy. He's that guy. All over a party being broken up that he shouldn't have thrown in the first place. And he doesn't get it. He doesn't understand why it's a bad thing. He doesn't understand why Sam talking about culture is not racist toward white people. And yet again, I know a lot of people that don't understand that. Racism can go both ways. It can indeed. I've had this conversation with black people. Racism in and of itself is a system of power and oppression. Now, that said,
There's already people disagreeing with you.
I know. That said, racism is not something that black people are born into. It's something that may be developed from mistreatment. And at that point, it's because of the fact that they have been racially profiled. We have been discriminated against. So, I mean, no, that's not racism. That's prejudice. There's a difference.
It's prejudice. I thought that's where you were going into, and
Yeah, that prejudice is something. Especially older generation of black folks. Older black folks are prejudiced as hell. We'll be the first ones to tell you that. But racism is through and through a non-person of color issue. It is something that happens on a daily basis, but because we talk about it, it's a problem. Because we see it, it's an issue. Curtis is the type of dude that his parents may have. I mean, you never meet the parents, but like based on his character, and we all know a guy like this, given somebody money because they were better than them, and because they were like, oh, we don't need it, but they do. They're the type of people that would employ somebody just to have the power over them, and you can see that because of the way his character is.
he runs his house that way.
Yeah.
I mean,
When you dig down into the core of the character, there's not a sympathetic bone in him. He only feels bad about the Dear Black People Party because he got in trouble for it. Which then, when you watch the series, no, he didn't. It gets written off. It gets thrown under the table because the administration doesn't want to deal with it. Because racism is not a problem at this campus, even though it blatantly is probably, if not the top issue, one of the top issues at this school.
to that point, though, I mean, you also see more of the manipulation in his character.
Yeah.
Because he could have gone down for it, but he ends up, doing some backdoor stuff to get people, quote unquote, on his side.
Right.
And it just there's just a lot of stuff that happens with him, and you can see him wheeling and dealing in the shadows to keep his hands clean.
And the weirdest thing is, though, like Cajun said, though, if you watch the series, he's really not a major part of it. He's there.
Yeah.
He's there, and he's basically Sam's. He's to Sam's Supergirl. He's her General Zod. Like he's that chick. He's that guy rather. That you're like, okay, here's like the high point of hope and freedom and fighting for what's right. And he's the guy that's like, this is the way I do things. This is the way I'm going to do things. This is the way we're always going to do things. And if you're with me, this is the way you're always going to do them with me. And if not, you're against me. There is no gray area for him.
And the more I think about it, Troy's caught in the middle. He's another character caught in the middle.
Yeah, I was going to get to Troy next after him because Troy is. Troy's a character that a lot of young black men could be.
He lives for everyone but himself. He does not make choices for himself outside of his 10 minutes in the bathroom writing his comics. That's
right. Him getting high is his him time. And, well, you find out later with the one professor. That's his him time, too. Should never come back to that. That's got to be in season 2.
Yeah, I wasn't going to mention it. I mean, that's...
I didn't say what it was, but...
Right.
Troy is that guy, yet again. Debate team, student council.
President.
Student, like he...
Well, first house president.
President of his own house, and then moves on to student body president, and yet again has Coco at his side.
And dating a white girl initially.
Yes, he was. In the movie, he was with a white girl.
It was the president's daughter, the president of the school.
Right, and they broke up.
Who it was. And no, they do say who Kurt's dad is, because that's his sister.
Oh, yeah, that's right. Kurt
That's another
Troy
point
had
in
that
the
thing.
show.
And the reason they were together...
It's because their dads grew up.
Yeah, their dads grew up together, and
Troy's
because...
dad, he put this in his head that you're not going to be the black lackey to his son like I am to his father.
Right, but that said, she also was with him and stayed with him because she had a black guy fetish.
Oh yeah.
Like I'm
Pissed
talking
off her
like
brother,
straight up, straight up said,
uncomfortable.
"Give me that big black cock" at one point in time. Like straight up said that.
and he just looked at her. That was one of the original Dear White People statements made in the movie. You know, the opening credits, all that. Dear White People, if you're dating a black guy just to get back at your parents, it doesn't count.
Right. Right. And honestly, and I mean, yet again, Cage and I have had this conversation. The hell, Jeannie and I have had this conversation. There's a loving relationship, and then there's a fetish relationship. And
we don't do the fetish ones.
Yeah.
We're about in our 30s.
Right. I'll be 33 on fucking Wednesday.
It was cool at 18, 19, 20, 21. But
that bullshit is over.
Yeah.
Over. It's
just not
You
okay.
look at me funny.
She got this look on her face like, I'll show you fetish. Wait till this recording's over.
Yeah, it's just
She's gonna ask me for bondage advice. She about to go get that lightsaber we was looking at 6 months ago.
Jesus Christ. And this is why I can't have her on the show with him here. I
got the link saved somewhere.
am going to stab Cajun in the chest. He's not going to make it out. But anyhow, moving on, that would explain the relationship between Troy and Kurt, which you never see his sister again in the show. They don't bring her back.
No.
Which would have made it a little bit more understandable as to why Troy does what he does for Kurt in the TV series. Especially if you watch the show without watching the movie, you won't get it as much now as I do, and like the clarity is there now.
Like I said to the other guy, I don't think it's necessary.
It's not necessary, but you should.
I was gonna say, I mean, you definitely watch both, but the order is.
Yeah, you could watch the show then watch the movie.
Yeah, you
and
watch the movie then the
hurt
show
anything.
because both of them have points that the other doesn't.
Right.
But they both build off each other.
Right.
It's like
Troy is
it's not a linear story.
Troy's definitely that character though that like aside from Lionel and when you meet Troy you think you're gonna love to hate him. You think you're going to like, this nigga right here sucks so bad. But then you watch the show and you're like, I get it, man. I'm sorry. Like, your dad is a piece of shit. They never talk about his mother.
No, that's another thing, because you have a single black dad.
A single black dad,
where
which is
the mom
the
ran off.
Usual opposite. But that's what we have. We have a single black dad raising his son, but he's also
died. Yeah, they don't know.
They never really talk about
it. The point is, it's a single black dad.
But the problem with this dynamic is instead of being a single black dad taking care of his son to the best of his ability, he's molding his son into what he wants him to be.
Vicariously living through him.
Yeah, he's doing all the things that he wanted to do through his son. And then you have you have Troy, who is that character that like his dad is pushing him, molding him, shaping him into what he wants him to be, who doesn't want to do any of that. I mean, hell, he didn't want to run for student body president.
And then you have Coco, who's like, what's so fucking wrong with that?
Yeah.
Like, your dad loves you and wants good for you.
Right, and not realizing, well, because she wants to ride his coattails.
Right. Well, not even just that. She still has that. She thinks Troy should see himself the way she sees herself.
Right.
In terms of the black-white relationship. In her mind, she doesn't understand why Troy hates being driven to succeed in a white world.
Right.
That's exactly how she sees it.
Right.
Whereas Troy is like, he's got this inner, confliction going on. He wants to succeed, but he wants to do it on his terms.
He wants to do it his way. Right. And then you have the polar opposite of Troy in the show, who ends up being one of my favorite characters in the TV show. Because at first, when you meet him in the movie, I didn't care for him. But once you get into the show, you're like, I get it. Reggie. Reggie, when you meet him, you think Reggie is the leader of the Black Panthers when you first meet this dude in the movie, because he is straight up hardcore, extreme militant. Black man
Fist in
should
the
be
air,
with black
yeah.
woman.
Clean as shaved to his flat top.
Yeah, like
Parted.
even rocking like I'm surprised they didn't have him in a kufi and a dashiki. Like that's
Yeah,
how black he is.
I don't think he smiles in the show. I mean,
He does. He does. Yeah.
But you
At
know,
the party. When
well, he was drunk as fuck and having
Yes,
a
he
good
was.
time.
Yes,
I
he
mean,
was.
he was.
But like himself, like when he's around his friends, even though when they're agreeing on something, they're having a good time about something because they watch a knock. The greatest thing is the black students get together every Wednesday and they watch a knockoff version because obviously this is set in a false world of Scandal called oh god, what the fuck is it called? Deceit or something.
Yeah, it was some TV show.
But it's a knockoff. It's Scandal, but it's not Scandal. They don't call it Scandal, and they change a lot of shit about it. Like the president's clone is who you're in love with. It's the greatest shit ever. Especially because they watch it like honestly in a stereotypical black fashion. Like
yeah.
they yell at the TV screen. They're like, "Girl, don't go in there." That type of shit. It's great, like because we actually do that. Like, that is one stereotype that most black people I know adhere to. We do talk to the TV.
And get mad when they can't hear us.
And get mad as fuck when they do the opposite of what we do.
Why aren't they listening?
But Reggie is that dude that's like, he doesn't understand why Sam doesn't want to be a bigger voice for the cause, and he doesn't understand. He doesn't like Troy. Like they don't get along.
I'm trying to figure out if there's something I really want to say about him or not because it's a huge point. I don't know. I feel like it's not the same hearing it and then watching it. I'm gonna say it anyway because it was a surprise for me. You find out he's not as racist as he comes off. Because he's got that tiny little bit of character development before what I would consider the climax of the 10 or 11 episodes. He's got white friends. He's got a white best friend.
Yeah.
And perfectly cool. There's no tension in the relationship. They understand each other.
Right, but then
They respect each other.
Before you see that point, though, you really think that Reggie is the anti-white.
Yeah, you're not. Yeah, it just... The blackest of Panthers.
Well, yeah, like I'm talking like hardcore, like fucking fire burnt black. Like
anyone who's seen the Malcolm X movie with Denzel Washington, you see the scene where the white lady's asking to help, and he's like, "Well, I guess you could pass out flyers, but stay the fuck away from us."
That's the Reggie.
That's Reggie
that you meet initially.
Yeah,
and then yet again, you do find out that he has a white best friend, and it's that in and of itself is character development because you're like, "What the shit." And then you understand the character a little bit better because he is a people person. He is a person he's not a people pleaser.
He's probably, when you combine book and street smarts, the most intelligent character in the show.
Yeah.
And you don't understand that until
Much
point.
later in the show. I'd say about the halfway point of the series.
Yeah, I mean, and it's not even an inference. It's not something you have to guess at. The show makes it clear.
Yeah,
he knows history. He knows
mathematics, science.
Social
studies.
No, what's the word I'm looking for? Oh man, I'm retarded. Anthropology.
Oh, yeah.
That's what I was like. He's a very knowledge. He's a critical thinker. He's a computer whiz. I mean, it just they make him out to be the kind of character where you assume there's nothing he doesn't know.
Right. And then
trivia.
Well, yeah,
huge.
I won't say what the big turning point for the character is because it's a very, very important plot point.
Not gonna do it.
But something big happens to this character, and as a black man, I got it. It hit home hard. Like they knocked it out of the park with that, and then you're like, man, this guy is vulnerable. You understand, and you see that the character can break because he does. He doesn't talk for a full episode after that.
Almost two.
Yeah, almost two full episodes. Yeah.
Two.
And like his friends are trying to come to him and trying to talk to him about it, and it's kind of a hard thing for him to go through because they come back. This plot point comes full circle in the end of the series, and it's one of those wake up moments for the dean to where you're like, oh, now it matters to you. Before it didn't matter when it happened to somebody else, but now it happens to your kid, and it's a big deal.
It gave another layer to his character too, because you also see, up until a certain point, And no, actually, throughout the series, he tries to maintain that image.
Yeah.
Period.
Tries to be the hard ass the entire time.
With the exception, he lets 2 characters in, and that's it.
Yep.
But outside of them, he's like, we're not talking about it. We're not doing anything about
I
it.
don't want to talk about this. And actually, he's the big. Honestly, he's the big point of contention for Gabe. Back to Sam's character, because he has a thing for Sam. It's blatantly obvious.
I mean, who wouldn't? Shit, I have
Right.
a thing for Sam, and everybody knows I constantly joke about not liking black women.
Right. But then
Shit.
Gabe obviously has an issue with it. And what people need to understand is watching the show, they don't make Gabe racist about it. He doesn't have a problem with Reggie because he's black. He has a problem with Reggie because he loves Sam. And he also realizes that Reggie loves Sam. And that's any male in general, no matter what race it is. Now, he does feel inferior to Reggie in the fact that Sam is this like hardcore black leader on campus and he's her white boyfriend.
I think he also understands the fragility of their relationship considering their surroundings.
Yeah.
He even talks to his friends about it.
Yeah.
Who turned out to be, the liberal, half hippie white people who understand black culture.
Get it.
Come completely out of left field. I mean, random episode in a fucking coffee diner, and these people are just there, and you're like, where the fuck have y'all been for 7 episodes?
Right. You're like, wait a minute, he got people that he could talk to? And
Like, this show has been making me hate white people 40 minutes at a time.
Right.
And then they just come out. You're like, oh yeah, that's right, they're out there. I can call them the fuck down.
The 2 in the beginning with Lionel you don't hate.
No.
You laugh at. You laugh at deeply, especially the dude. The girl you feel bad for. But the boy, especially because there's a callback to them later too, which was great at the poetry house. That was great. And they about to have such awkward sex.
Yeah.
And she could back it up though. She was good at what she did. But
Oh, that wasn't me.
no, it was me.
Oh, okay.
My Twitter feed is blowing up for some reason.
The 4 people feel it. They're like, oh shit.
Yeah, Dave's talking black. But there's just so much character development for all these characters, which for it to be a season 1 show based on a movie that's a sequel to a movie, that's a big deal.
Yeah, I'm really trying not to give summaries of what happened.
What they get,
Because you need to watch it.
yeah, all these characters get a fair shake.
If you get it, you need to watch it. If you don't get it, you really need to watch it.
Really need to watch it.
Like, it's one
Do
of
not be
those-
deterred by the name. Do not be deterred by the trailer. And for God's sake, don't say it should have been called something different. Like,
Yeah.
it shouldn't have been called Dear Everybody, because that's not what the fuck it's about.
See, and that's another thing. And this is a thing we haven't actually really mentioned. I mean, we've talked about it. We haven't really brought it home. It's not just about understanding racism. It's so... Because I'm going to use the term white privilege at some point. Might as well get out the way. It has nothing to do with how much money you make or, you get benefits. The whole... And I'm going to keep saying this. I don't know why I have to repeat this. White privilege does not mean you get more than we do.
No.
It means you have been able to live your life in relative comfort without having to face a racial issue. That is all it means. It has nothing to do with your benefits, your health care, your job. Why are we looking weirdly at her? What? Okay. Oh, she made a coaster out of a
Just
napkin.
kill something?
No, that was cute. Like that's all it means is that you don't get it, and that's not an insult. It's not meant to be offensive.
No, and
We're
that's
literally just saying you don't understand.
And that's what the show illustrates. And aside from, like we said before, it covers white privilege. It covers what white people call reverse racism, what we call prejudice from a black standpoint. It covers homophobia. It covers sexism. It covers sexism. It covers interracial relationships. It covers interracial hate about relationships.
Interracial gay relationships.
Interracial gay relationships. It covers
parent-child relationships or the lack thereof.
mental abuse for parent-child relationships. It covers a broad spectrum.
And yes, it's all related to being black because let's face it, that's the theme. But that's what you, as someone who may potentially benefit from white privilege, again, not knowing, it just wants you to understand where a lot of black people are coming from. Because
Right.
you've got Coco who hates herself for being black.
Right. You have Troy, who almost hates himself for being black, but then comes back to realize that he doesn't hate himself. He hates what his father is trying to make him. And then you have Coco coming back around and hating Troy for not being what his dad wants him to make him, for not being the guy that she wants him to be, so she can ride him all the way to the White House. Because that's what the bitch wants. She says it in the show.
You got Sam, who doesn't know if she wants to be MLK or Malcolm X.
Right.
I mean, she goes back and forth.
Right.
You got Reggie, who knows he wants to be Malcolm X.
Right.
You got Lionel, who doesn't want to be either of them. He just wants to be able to eat his fucking bologna sandwich in peace.
Lionel wants to be that. Lionel wants to be Lionel. He wants to be happy with who he is. He wants people to be happy with who he is, and he wants to write. That's what the motherfucker wants. It. He doesn't get to do that half the goddamn time because they keep wanting to put him on fluff pieces and not let him speak the truth.
And then you have all the various powers that be that want to control the narrative.
Right.
Whether it's the rich white president of the school, the black dean, the editor of the newspaper who thinks he's important.
Right.
Like
of a student-run newspaper.
Yeah.
You have the ninja girl at the newspaper that shows up every goddamn where.
Yeah. I mean,
who's actually one of the best characters in the show, who has like 7 lines, but she's really good.
Honestly, the whole point of the show, of the movie, is put yourself in the next person's shoes.
Right.
That is the point of the show. Yes, the title could be construed as being offensive. It's got to be offensive, or half of you won't pay it any goddamn attention.
Right.
I mean, and I said this the other day, the day artists, producers, whatever you want to call them, start making shit with their viewers' reactions in mind is the day they stop being artists.
If producers and artists and directors made shit for their fan base, we wouldn't have Michael Bay directing Transformers. Don't get me wrong, I'm a Transformers fan. I've loved all of them except for 3. I'm gonna watch 5, but they're not good movies from a cinematography standpoint. It's not a good movie. It's not. It's not, especially when you have things like fucking Guardians of the Galaxy, Pacific Rim, and all that.
Still haven't watched Pacific Rim.
That needs to be a thing.
I know. I was supposed to go see it. I had a date with someone, and she canceled. And I just never.
We saw it in IMAX. It was amazing. 40-foot robots on a 40-foot screen.
I can't watch IMAX.
Oh yeah. Sure.
I mean, I can, but
it's not gonna do anything for you.
Yeah, no.
But if this was the case, and then on that same note, if producers and directors gave a shit about their fan base, Jerry Springer wouldn't still be on the air. Fucking Maury. I watch Maury Povich every day that I'm off during the week.
About to be a happy white girl.
Right.
I think you're.
Every day during the week, I watch Maury Povich because
All right, we're gonna be leaving soon.
And then
Layla, you're probably coming too.
Judge Judy. None of that shit would be on anymore if producers gave a shit about their fan base. They don't give a shit about us. That's not the point. They're making their art. That's the entire point of it. And to watch this show or watch a trailer and immediately write it off. And I get it. It's not for everybody. I understand that. I get that. I understand. You know what else isn't for everybody? Friends. You know who looks at me funny when I say I don't like Friends? White people. You know why? Because they don't understand why I don't like it. I can't stand it. It's a stupid ass show. Doesn't make any goddamn sense.
The third podcast we've made that
right
Friends reference.
Because Friends isn't for black people. It's not. It's not. I don't know many white people that watch Moesha or know what the fuck it is. You know why? Because that wasn't necessarily for white folks. It was, but it wasn't.
Not till Ray J came along.
Right, then it really wasn't.
It was.
Then on that same note, Fresh Prince of Bel-Air. Fresh Prince was a black show, but it was for white folks too. Family Matters, white TV show. Black people, white TV show.
I think, now that you mention it, Fresh Prince was the dear white people of his era.
It really was. It really was. With Will's dad coming back, that episode, the episode at the bar, the episode where Will and Carlton got pulled over and arrested for no damn reason.
Yeah. I mean, actually, if you like Fresh Prince, there's no reason you wouldn't like Dear White People.
Right. If you like most things that Will Smith is in,
yeah,
that are serious roles.
Yeah. 7 Pounds.
I still haven't watched that yet.
What was the other one?
Pursuit of Happiness.
Pursuit of Happiness.
If you watch The Pursuit of Happiness and you don't cry, you're not fucking human. That movie is emotional. You don't cry about anything, nigga. I was talking about in general. You had a heartfelt moment watching that movie, though. Don't act like you ain't get mad.
I did, but I didn't.
Same thing with Precious. Like, if you watch Precious and you ain't mad as hell as Monique after you watch that movie, the entire time you're like, fuck that bitch, God.
What was the other one? Raise Your Voice, actually.
I haven't watched that one yet. That's
Queen Latifah.
Queen Latifah, right? Yeah. But I mean, there's so much shit that. Well, I mean, honestly, you can say Empire is pandering. Empire is the hip hop show that's pandering to everybody because they want. But on the
Yeah,
same
yeah,
note,
it's a step down. I mean,
I've had a lot of people say that Empire was coonish. Like, and to what people don't understand, that means that black people don't generally like it because it's painting black people in a bad light. But if you watch it, it's really what happens in the hip hop world for a lot of this shit. I mean, look at what's happening. Look at what the last couple of years with Weezy trying to leave Cash Money. Look at rap in general right now. Like, as a whole, there's problems behind the scene.
praise
Empire.
Allah for Kendrick Lamar right now.
Right.
Oh my God.
Empire is showing all that drama and people don't like it, but it's true. But to get back to Dear White People,
Yes, J. Cole too, Omar.
if you listen to
Okay,
this,
I only mentioned Kendrick because he just dropped that fire ass album. Okay, I'm sorry. I didn't mean to exclude J. Cole. I know you know my feelings on J. Cole. I'm personally biased considering his message. Yes, I recognize his talents. I'm just gonna get that out the way.
but to get back to Dear White People, if you haven't watched the show or the movie, you need to. If you are calling yourself somebody that's sympathetic to race relations, to the LGBT community, to
There's really not an American citizen that shouldn't watch this movie.
yeah, they even bringing in a little Asian girl in the movie in the show to like add that extra bit of.
Yeah,
I mean, she's not into the last couple of episodes, but you're like, all right, I see you. And yet again, they show things from all aspects. They show other black people treating other black people like shit just because they're not black enough, too black. They show white people.
That's a point in the movie with that survey. Are you 100% black? Are you an UFTA? Are you
Right.
that part? That was a big.
Right. It's just something that needs. In 2017, this is something that needs to be watched because we need to have the conversation. And you know what? If you don't agree with it after you watch it, that's fine too. As long as we can talk about it, as long as we can have that conversation. If you don't agree with it, or there's something you don't understand about it, or something you didn't like about it, that's perfectly fine. But that's what the fuck the show is for. It's so we can have this conversation and educate one another. Because there might have been something as a black person that I missed about this show that you might watch it as a white person, as an Asian person, as a Hispanic person, and go, hey, what'd you think about this? How's your reaction to this? Did you feel like this character was treated unfairly? Da, 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 da. And honestly, there were some characters that I did think were treated. I thought that the way Sam treated Gabe was bullshit. I really didn't like that. And on that, especially for what you find, I can't say what happened.
Yeah, no, let's say
but
we're trying not to.
I really, really, really get why he did it. I get why he did what he did. I understand. Because let me tell you, if my black ass had been in the situation, I would have just left. I'm like, well, shit's about to pop off. David's out. Actually, I'd have tapped you on the shoulder like, there's a back door right there, nigga. You want to go? We ain't getting involved in this. This ain't got nothing to do with us. Now, unless it was us that were involved in it, it would have been a different story. But I get why he did what he did. Now, lying about it was bullshit. He should have said something. Especially with the woman you love. Now, again, though, I do disagree with the way Sam reacted to it. I don't think she should have immediately, ran to the other motherfucker. But from her character, I get it. Especially with what happened and how it happened.
It's easy. It's easy to diagnose relationship shit from the outside.
Yeah.
I mean.
Yeah, if you're not dealing with it, it's really easy to talk about it.
I mean, hell.
Right.
That's just me.
Right.
Hello.
Right. But then
I'm making fun of myself for those of you that don't understand what's going on right now.
It's seriously, this is the conversation started in 2017 that we needed. Especially with the geopolitical climate of today's world. This is the conversation that we needed. If you ever tell me, and you're not black, what I should be offended by, what I shouldn't be offended by, just understand that we're not going to talk anymore after I flip out. I've been told my entire life what I should and shouldn't be offended by. Paula Dean said nigga a couple years ago, lost her Food Network contract, lost a bunch of shit. She's a 70-something-year-old white woman from Mississippi. I understand that she said it. You know what? I'm not bothered by the fact that she said it. Why? Because she's a 70-some-year-old white woman from Mississippi.
I respect her for owning up to this
I knew
shit.
she said it.
Like,
Before she went on record and said
yeah,
it.
but-
She said it. Like,
she wasn't tiptoeing around. She was like, I said it. Like,
right.
shit, my bad. I appreciate a shit, my bad way more than I do a 2,000 word essay on why I should be okay with or why you might be sorry. Like, shit, my bad. Cool.
Right.
End of discussion. We can finish our chicken and grits or whatever the fuck it is we're doing.
Right.
Like,
Right. The fuck's so funny?
I don't know. I heard something fall, and like they're oddly quiet.
I think one of them's in the bathroom.
I closed the doors so it wouldn't be loud.
Oh, okay, that makes sense.
But
Wow, that door soundproof as fuck. She showing you more white girl booty? Is that what's going on?
no, that's
he's reading.
great. And as a person that grew up like Troy in the fact that the outside world wanted me to be something that I wasn't. Now that wasn't my family's influence. My mom and dad have always been the type that said, "You follow your heart, do what you want to do what you need to do for you." But the rest of the world, like the church we grew up in, the teachers and all that, like my nickname was Professor for the longest time because that's what everybody told me I was going to do. And look, I ain't teaching. I'm not doing that. And the reason is because that's not what I wanted. Some way, shape, or form, entertainment, comic books, all that has always been a part of my life. That's what I like. That's what I do. So that's what I'm into now. So I broke out of the mold of that. So I understand Troy's character. That said, I've never been controlled either. I've never been one to be controlled. So I don't understand that aspect of his character. I sympathize with Reggie because being black in an interracial relationship, unlike him, I still see the bullshit a lot more than people understand. Like, I mean, if you are, for instance, like at a shop somewhere or at a store and I see you or something and like you're white and you look at me side-eyed or you clutch your purse a little tighter, that happens to me all the time. Happens to me all the time.
It's like that little bastard Save-A-Lot yesterday.
Yeah, exactly.
I'm at the fucking grocery store yesterday, and this kid's girlfriend, I'm assuming, I don't think he would have been so mad otherwise, was just kind of peeking over, whatever, and he finally, sacks up a little bit, looks at her and goes, "Oh, is that what you're into now?" And I tell you, I mean, his friend saved his life, because I'd have smacked a 17-year-old in the middle of the dairy aisle and Save-A-Lot. I don't care. But he had a little buddy of his jumped in and was like, that's not cool. Don't be an idiot. You don't know who he is.
Right.
Situation resolved.
Kid, you ain't about that life.
Yeah, but no, seriously, shit like that happens all the goddamn
all the time.
White women walk by and clutch at their purses,
I was 17 years old and when we lived on the other side of town, I walked to Rite Aid rather, for my mom to get her medicine. I was going to get my mother's medicine in the middle of a snowstorm. And I was walking into the building as this older white woman, had to be in like her late 70s, 80s, was walking to her car, clutched her purse. I held the door for her. And she goes, "I don't carry much money." And I looked at her and I said, "Well, you should." And I walked inside. What the hell does that mean? Lady, I held the door open for you. But these are the experiences that people write off. Because what people have told me is like, "Oh, maybe she meant she was going to get..." No, she didn't. The bitch said, "I don't carry much money," because she thought I was going to rob her. That's exactly what it was. In the front of the store, mind you, at 2 o'clock in the afternoon. So don't give me that shit. My brother and I ran across the street, going to get Taco Bell, had like $40 on us a piece when we were teenagers, going to Taco Bell, ran across the street, and this woman in a station wagon. I have never seen somebody manually lock 6 doors so fast in my damn life. Manually. Like, I'm talking flash. This bitch had the speed force. Click, 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 click. And me and Tank looked at each other like, what just happened?
Another movie that tried to start this discussion like a decade or so ago, a little more than, was Crash.
Oh, yeah.
Same premise.
Yeah, but Crash was a little bit more forward about it.
A lot. Yeah, but without the title.
Yeah.
It was more, I would say, geared toward an adult.
Yeah.
Definitely more flashy, more Hollywood, but the premise was there.
Yeah.
I mean,
Well, because and it's sad that it takes these movies or these TV shows for us to have these conversations. But that's what it is.
The only ones having the conversations are me and you and people who quote unquote get it.
Right.
And people are going to keep making shows like Dear White People until the rest of you start to come along.
Right. And yet again, it's not about racism. It's about everyday life. It's about the things that everybody goes through, which happens to include racism, sexism, homophobia, classism. Classism was a big part of this show.
It was a subtle part of the show.
Yeah.
Minus a couple scenes.
Because of the fact that everybody was well-to-do, come from well-off families, it seemed like.
For the most part.
But.
Minus your Cocos, your Sams, your Reggies.
Right.
Possibly even Gabe. I mean, he's a TA. He's probably working his way through his tuition.
Right, but then you see it, though, and, like, you see the differences in those characters.
Really, the only stereotypical type of character that isn't in here is the black guy that thinks he has to be a thug because he's black.
Right.
It's really the only thing missing from the show.
Right.
And it's not a problem that it's missing, because in the setting, it probably wouldn't be there.
No.
It's an upscale college.
No, this would have been one of those situations where none of the characters would have put up with that.
Now, had they gone off campus and encountered that,
which is a distinct possibility for
yeah,
season
it
2.
could be season 2. I mean, that's really.
I'm not even sure if this got renewed.
I hope so.
It's Netflix, so I don't see why not.
I mean, I was thinking about that because I was this close to being that black guy as an adult. I mean,
right.
If my mom didn't do the dumb shit she did and I got sent away to live with my dad, I'd have never met Josh. I'd have never met Richie. I'd have never had the personal development that I had growing up on the east side of Cleveland.
Right, and I mean, and that's the thing, is people don't understand. Like, you're in... not to say that you are 100% proud of your environment, but you're about 85% of your development is your environment. So if you're around that element your entire life, that's going to tend to be what you lean toward. Now, but if you have that support system, which, like Cajun said himself, he did, in the form of his father, in the form of his 2 best friends.
Well, I don't know, not necessarily. I mean, my dad's, he's stuck in his ways. That's an old black man.
Yeah, but still, like...
I just meant him being where he lives out here.
And your dad wasn't going to let you turn into that after he came back around. That wasn't going to be a thing. Like, even now, like, I know, like, he's your dad and you're an adult, but there are still things, and we've had this conversation before. Yeah. I stop and think, what is my mom going to think before I do something? Like, I mean, my dad still is an influence in my life now, but, like, the same thing. Like, there's some times where you're like, you know what, my dad needs me. I can't do this. My daughter, and well, now for us, the biggest impact is our kids need us, and we know that. And I mean, how many people don't do that?
He does wish I'd date a black girl, though.
Right?
Like, that's not even a joke. He wants that to happen.
Can imagine.
Unless it's Jeannie. We can also be honest.
It's because your dad wants to date.
I was gonna say my dad wants to date Jeannie.
But then you look at
Are they still Facebook friends?
Probably. Pretty sure they are. I'm surprised he didn't break your stairs.
Right.
But without those influences, like, we'd be different people. Like, without my mom, without my brother, without, like, Jeannie, when Jeannie and I met, we were seniors. Well, when we met and actually got to know each other, we were seniors in high school. Without people like that to influence a lot of things, like, I mean, there was always the best shit. I mean, I skipped a month of junior high, like the 8th grade, the last month of junior high, I didn't go to school. Like, because I was becoming that kid. Like, mind you, I wasn't a bad kid, but I was becoming that kid that was like, fuck it. Like, I was lethargic, didn't care. But, like, then you think about my mom. I have a younger brother. Well, I have 3 younger brothers. And then, you know, it's just, you have to be able to better yourself. You have to be able to escape that reality, which is a lot of what you can see, like with Troy's character. You can see that he's trying to escape the reality that his father is trying to create for him.
You can feel the pressure he's under, too.
Yeah.
And you can understand.
Especially by the time the end of the show happens.
That's really another point. The show makes it clear it is hard being a black person in America for various reasons.
Right.
It's not just because of quote-unquote white people.
Right. And actually, you know what, Troy? The least of Troy's problems was white people.
White people, yeah.
His biggest problem was not being black enough for the black kids. And being too black for the white kids. And not being that perfect balance that his father wanted.
Yeah, because even with Kurt, he tried to get along with Kurt, you know, and Kurt was like, yeah, you're cool, but you're black. Right. He never said that, but you know.
It was there.
It was there. obviously this man is qualified. Troy is your typical overqualified black man for the position.
Yeah.
And he's not getting it because he's black.
He's that guy that's going to show up at a job interview and immediately get written off.
And he's going to keep kissing ass anyway, and that's exactly what his dad doesn't want.
Right.
And his dad tries to tell him, forget about Kurt. You don't need him. You don't need to be on his staff. Follow this path I have you on, and you'll be fine.
Right.
And he's just, fighting against it.
Which is the polar opposite, though, because he doesn't want him to follow Kurt's path, but then the path that he wants him to follow is essentially the same thing. It's just a different set of white people. Mm-hmm. But that said, his dad does want what's best for him, but he wants what's best for him for him. I really hope everybody understood that, because I didn't.
that whole image, you reflect on me.
Right.
Everything you do, because I'm your father, you're my seed, family honor, all that stuff.
It's just one of those things that
you hate the fuck out of his dad.
You do.
Even when you're supposed to empathize with his dad,
which is not till the end of the series.
You still hate him. You're almost like, that's what the fuck you get, and then you feel bad.
If it weren't for the fact that it was Troy involved at the end when the shit happens, you're just like, ha! That's what the fuck you get.
Yeah, because my reaction was, that's what you.
I will say this: no, he doesn't die. They didn't go cliche with that. They didn't kill the character. But what does happen to him? You're gonna be like, huh?
Actually, the show is
now you give a shit.
Is very. There aren't a lot of cliches to be had.
No,
there is a lot of truth.
This is not like hardcore, like 70s black exploitation. This is not like 80s, 90s black empowerment show.
This shit happens.
This is not like black people and white people are best friends show. That's not what this is. This is a reality-based television show that hits home for a lot of people if you give it the chance. The problem is people aren't given a chance just straight a little bit. I mean, look at how many people.
Which is why we're doing this show.
Thousands of people were like, I'm canceling my Netflix because this racist
20-second
show.
Trailer.
But those same people are like talking about curb stomping after watching American History X. Which, mind you, I was told you're
Trump
racist if you like that movie. And I'm like, did you watch it? I've had several white people tell me that being white and watching American History X makes you racist. It's like, watch the movie.
Give
I'm
Trump
like, as a black man,
but I'm going to cancel my Netflix account over a trailer.
Right.
Like
that.
Just that mentality doesn't make sense. Like that whole logic. is illogical.
Over something that you don't have to watch. You have the choice to not watch. There are thousands of programs on Netflix that I don't watch because I'm like, I'm not interested.
I don't not go to Burger King just because some of their sandwiches have mayo on them.
Right. I
order them without mayo.
Right.
Or I order something else.
Or you get something else on the menu. I don't not go to a grocery store because they have strawberries and blueberries. I go because there's other shit that I want. Like, oh shit, they got Frosted Flakes over here. I'm not gonna look at the fruit. Like that's but this is the mindset of like and mind you, that they say. And like you said it already, this destroys the concept of safe spaces for conservatives. Because conservatives are the ones that are looking at the trailer and saying, and yes, I'm generalizing now because I really am, saying that, I'm not watching it because it's against my sensibilities, so I'm going to cancel my Netflix. Okay, but like you just created your own safe space. Because now you're just completely avoiding the show. I was
going to say there's no bigger safe space in our time right now other than Netflix, because I'm pretty sure all of us, after a long day, week, whatever the hell it is, come home, shut the windows, turn on Netflix,
sit down and binge watch something,
put on our pajamas, get naked, whatever the fuck it is we do,
and you
bag of Doritos, pint of ice cream,
hours upon hours of mindless television, no matter what it is.
I'm watching Shameless right now religiously.
Right. And that's the thing is I watched Dear White People in 3 days. Yeah. I sat down and watched it in 3 days, and this was while I was playing Injustice 2. That is a plug. They didn't pay us, but that is a plug. This was while I was playing Injustice 2.
I've watched 5 seasons of Shameless in less than 2 weeks.
And we live in a reality where we can do that now. Yeah.
That's a fucking safe space, though.
Exactly. Like that's your escape from reality, because
you're gonna get rid of that because you don't like content that
you
program can ignore.
One program.
It's not like Netflix is forcing you to watch the show before you can continue with your queue of 1,000 different things.
I didn't cancel my cable because Fox News is on it.
I didn't cancel my cable when the Cavs lost the finals 2 years ago.
Right.
I mean...
Right. Oh shit! My cable package carries Fox News, and I better not watch. You know what I don't do? I don't watch it.
You want to know when I canceled my cable? When a different product offered something. When a different company offered a better product.
Right.
If you cancel Netflix because you just happen to like Hulu more,
right, then do you
go for it?
Do you?
If Hulu suits your needs, which it probably doesn't, because they don't have a CW contract anymore.
Right. Right. They do have a Fox contract though, so I mean.
And they did get rid of Bob's Burgers on Netflix, which I understand a lot of people are upset about.
A lot of people.
Then again, if you have Netflix solely to watch Bob's Burgers, I mean,
just buy the seasons on DVD.
Yeah, go to
by the time you've paid
Best Buy, Walmart, Target,
$10 a month, that's $120 a year. You could buy the first 3 or 4 seasons of Bob's Burgers that are available on Blu-ray. Or the digitals off of Vudu. Or
you probably get all the digitals off of Vudu for
$120, yeah. It just okay, but still, I understand that reasoning. I'm canceling because like they're losing all the shows that I watch. That's okay.
Yeah, no, but they added something that.
But to add and then,
even if it was a racist piece of shit show, you're gonna cancel.
Netflix still has your money for all the time you had it before. You're not hurting them.
There's probably so much shit on Netflix that offends
Netflix
you.
is a Fortune 100
you don't know
company.
it's there.
This is what people need to understand. They're in the top 100 companies of the world that makes money.
There's a movie on there about girls getting gang raped in prison. Does that bother you? I can tell you exactly which ones they are.
Right. Orange is the New Black should offend the shit out of a bunch of people.
I wasn't even talking about that one.
I know, but Orange is the New Black should offend a bunch of people. Mm-hmm. My dad can't watch Orange is the New Black. He doesn't like it. And you know what he didn't do? He didn't cancel his Netflix. He didn't cancel his Netflix because of one show. My dad was like, "There's other shit on this channel, on this program that I'm going to watch," which it doesn't make any sense. No. And to stand up and say we're going to boycott, but on that same note, when black people boycotted the Oscars, that was a problem. That was an issue. To boycott one night, that was an issue. But
or the inauguration this year, that was an issue.
But you canceled your whole subscription. There's one show of the 9,000 that are on it.
And to be honest, you didn't hurt them any. I'm just saying.
Right. Well, it's like, remember, what was it last year when Steve Rogers' Captain America #1 came out, where Cap was revealed to be an agent of Hydra, and people were buying the comic to burn it. I'm like, you already spent your money on the book. Marvel already made their money,
if
so
you're trying to make a point, hijack a truck, steal the copies off the back of it, and then burn them.
Not that we're condoning this, but
if making a point is your goal,
then that's what you did it wrong. It was like it's the same thing in the 90s. Remember when we first got parental advisory labels on CDs? When all those parents bought up all the CDs, like the NWA and the Metallica and like a bunch, just anything that they deemed was too bad for their kids, bought them all off the store shelves to steamroll them. What did that accomplish? You gave them their money already. Mm-hmm. The artist is sitting back going, 21, 22, 23. How much did you make? $25,000 off of this one album? That's
How
cool.
many artists decided to make the most vulgar thing they possibly could just to force parents to buy it?
2 Live Crew.
Like,
yeah. I mean, I don't understand the thought process behind, and yet again, I understand at this point, I'm not going to give them money anymore. That's great, but then guess what? Something's going to happen to where a show, case in point, you just said to yourself, the CW license is strictly Netflix now.
And let's really be honest, most of you saying you're going to cancel your account were probably leeching off of someone anyway.
Right.
All you did was delete the app
Sharing
off of
accounts.
your device. I mean,
or most of you people saying we're just dick riding and never actually did it.
All right, just on the internet talking shit.
Right, behind a keyboard you can talk a lot of shit. And yes, I understand we're recording this right now and talking a lot of shit, but this is shit that we would say to everybody to your face.
I've given enough of you my address on Facebook when you was talking shit. I don't give a fuck. Actually, I think David's told me to calm down when I was doing
There were a couple of times.
Who was it? I don't even remember.
I can't remember, but it was...
Somebody was saying
because that was you
stupid.
was at my house. You were at my house with the old boy's girl that called.
Well, that wasn't on Facebook.
That was on the phone.
No, not on. Oh,
yes,
no,
that was on the phone.
I thought you were talking about the week of the Trayvon shit.
No, that was different. No, that was
never mind.
Yeah.
Point being, I have a smart ass mouth, and I am not afraid to tell y'all where the fuck I'm at.
Right. Right. And I can only be pushed so far.
No, I mean I'm just.
Like I will generally remain quiet. I'm the type of dude that's gonna smile at you and hit you. Cajun's the type of dude that's gonna tell you it's coming.
I'm just ready to fight like all the time. I am a pugnacious little bastard. I get it from my mother.
It's this is the world we live in, folks. You want to say it's not black and white? It is. It is. It very race is an issue. For anybody that says I don't see color,
yeah,
shut up.
It's just at this point in time, it's not just black and white.
No, it's a vast plethora of
60 years ago it was black and white. Today it's black, it's white, it's gay, it's half gay, it's interracial, it's a boy, it's a girl, it's both.
Right. It's
all under the umbrella of black and white.
Right.
There's the black and white tree, and then there's all the branches.
And this spreads, and this is the thing, is like what we've been telling you, what we've been saying, what people of color have been saying for centuries now, is this ain't new. We empathize with you. We're there with you. We will fight the fight with you, but know that it's going to happen.
You know what else wasn't really in the show? And I feel like being that the TV show came out this year, that could have been, there wasn't a Muslim black guy. Or a black girl.
That we know of.
True, right, but I mean
they also didn't really touch on religion.
No, but I mean we're talking about things that are covered under the umbrella.
Right,
it's just another.
But that could have been one of the characters though that we just don't realize.
I hope so.
Well, actually, the smart mouth light skinned boy could have been Muslim. He I could see that very.
Yeah, I would even be okay with a Muslim white person. Like anything, to have, because that's another big piece of contention.
We did get an African though.
Oh yeah, that was great.
Yeah, he was a good character too. He was a little underused, but he was a good character. Oh, yeah. Actually, a lot of supporting black characters were underused.
He wasn't necessary for the plot to go forward,
but it was good to see that other aspect of somebody from Africa.
Yeah, he's like a chili cheese dog. You don't need the extra shit, but it's good to have.
Right,
that was totally me.
It was definitely good to see the.
That was not me.
Like I said, my Twitter's blown out.
Yeah, no, shit felt like it was right under my elbow that time,
though. Hey, my package shipped. Wow, we've been going for an hour and 20 minutes.
I'm just glad we got away from summarizing the events of the show. It's the kind of show that is not going to have the same impact if you know what you're getting
this
into.
Isn't the Power Rangers review. This isn't the...
I was thinking that.
What was the other review we did that we basically told the entire movie?
Civil War.
Civil War, yeah. Oh, yeah, that was a broad review, but we basically told the entire movie in that part.
We talked about Civil War for like 30 minutes.
Regardless,
we didn't get to do our Guardians review yet.
No, we need to do Guardians. Logan comes out on Blu-ray this week. We need to do Logan. We should probably do Get Out.
I was gonna say, if we had more people here right now, we could have done these together.
We need both viewpoints for Get Out.
Definitely.
John's seen it. Jeannie's seen it.
I really wish Josh was here, but he's got his own priorities right now.
Yeah,
because it would have been great.
Yeah. I mean, honestly, it's not like we can't do a callback to this episode and have Josh on, have John on.
Yeah, no, definitely.
And then lead from that to Get Out.
Josh, John, if you're listening, find some point. I know Josh lives in goddamn Ravenna. It's hard for him, he's got a wife. Out of town right now, he's got a wife he's very loyal to, which is
this is only the second podcast we've done without John, to think of it.
Yeah,
the only one we did was Dragon Ball.
The Dragon Ball, and that was basically a test to see.
We really need to do that one over again.
I need to catch up.
They have changed so much.
Gohan's #1 now. No,
damn close, actually. Damn close. He Ultimate Gohan we're completely off subject now, but Ultimate Gohan just went blow for blow with Super Saiyan Blue Kaioken Goku.
Oh yeah. He's always had the potential though. It's just
he got in the books. It's the half Saiyan.
Yeah,
that's.
I just mean he got in the books and got away from being a badass.
Well, like the entire point was supposed to be half Saiyans were supposed to be the strongest characters in the universe because they were the best of both worlds. That's cool.
Why it sound like somebody taking one of your trees down with a bulldozer?
A random branch just fell out of the tree.
Oh, all right. So that's why it sounds like that. Speaking of, I have been slightly jealous of your recent move lately, up until
Random
yesterday.
branch just fell out of that tree there.
When I was mowing my lawn, and I thought Dave has so much yard to be responsible for now, and I am not mad.
I would be, but her dad comes over and does it.
That's great.
And if he had told me he wanted it done again, I would have done it. But he just
Oh,
came and was
no,
like,
I'm
I'm mowing the
saying,
lawn.
like,
That's also his thing. It's like her dad's very Hank Hill about the lawn. Like he's gonna do it because it's his baby.
right. No, hey, I'm not mad at it.
Huh?
It's a white people thing, but
Our
whatever.
landscape always looks like shit.
Yes, I said it.
No, it wasn't that. It was the fact that she just went on record and said that.
My white girl said it, so y'all can't be mad. Stop refrigerating syrup.
Are you still recording?
Yes,
Yes,
You
we
know, I
are.
listen to you this long.
For an hour and 20 minutes, yes, they
Yeah,
do.
we did one that was almost 3 hours long at one point. I
And we
think.
had like that was the one with our most listens.
She's going out in the rain though, so I'm taking off, guys. It'll be the last you ever hear from me. We keep saying that every podcast. It's going to be the last that they hear from me for
Right.
saying some dumb shit.
One of these days, something's gonna happen to you, and it won't be my fault, and I'll be implicated.
One of these days, y'all are going to hear a podcast. It's just going to be, this is David Jackson, and this is John Smith. This is
And this
you
is
guys are
that
going to be
nigga's
waiting
replacement.
for. Yeah. It's going to be Levis. Levis will be the perfect replacement for me.
Either Levis or D.
Yeah. Well, I just meant from a personality
Oh, yeah.
standpoint.
You need to get on D's podcast for
For that wrestling
Wrestling
shit.
one,
I
yeah.
know, man. I have so much. Dude.
That's a
I'm
plug.
not-
That's a
that
plug.
is a
The
plug.
D. Harris brand.
The D. Harris brand. Team Prodigy.
Team Prodigy 216.
216. You're welcome, D.
Yeah. You better listen to this one now, goddammit.
This would be the one he
He
doesn't.
does not listen to. I'm gonna tag him in it after I put it up tonight.
Stop listening to U55.
Nah, he'll listen to the whole thing. We actually have some pretty loyal listeners, people that listen all the way through,
Yeah.
God bless him.
All 12 of them.
right?
And then the,
We've actually
and then the 92
between our-
stragglers.
between our 5 videos, we're up to 192 plays,
Nice.
and that's not counting the ones that it counts when I play it for some odd damn reason.
Right. Chelsea's in there somewhere.
Oh yeah, she's probably
a
like
devout-
95 of them.
Probably.
Chelsea,
Yeah.
Ryan, Kenny listens to our show.
No shit, right?
Yeah.
I would not have expected that.
And he does. He does.
Hey,
a lot.
what's up, Ryan? How you doing?
Yeah, I mean, honestly, like again, we got completely off subject, but
That happens.
all the time, every episode. If you haven't watched Dear White People, do it.
I was gonna say the most we stayed on topic was the Power Rangers one.
That's because we summarized the entire movie, which we'll do again when the Blu-ray comes out in June.
From start to finish.
Yeah, because there's going to be a lot of featurettes and shit we got to talk about.
Watch the damn show. Watch the damn movie, and please talk to us about it.
Right. Leave a comment on the. I mean, on the Facebook version of this that I put up on the YouTube page. Leave comments. Let us know that you guys are listening to this stuff. Talk to us about it. Anthony listens to him. God damn it, he's my family. Pratt, my cousin. He listens to him.
Get out ship today.
Yeah.
Anthony,
Logan
stop
ships it.
refrigerating
Then we gotta do a
syrup.
podcast.
You fucking
Oh, yeah,
traitor.
Logan and Get Out both ship. So we're going to do a podcast on both of those.
Idiot. Anthony's definitely gonna understand that too white for black people shit.
Yeah.
Not black enough for black
Yes,
people.
actually,
that-
Anthony Pratt, my family, my blood. Once you listen to this, man, because I know you will, because you actually do. Let me know. Let us know what you think, man. I'd love to have you on the show sometime. It's summertime. You ain't in school. We'll get you on here. Actually,
Yeah,
when
actually,
we
just
talk
told
about
me.
Get Out,
Did he see Get Out yet?
if he hasn't, I'll have it soon. So
Oh, I mean,
Have you seen Get Out yet?
oh, hell yeah.
remember,
I saw it sort of with Amanda, sort of not. Like she went to see it where
they
she
watched it at the
was.
same time.
I went to see it where I was.
And that's another movie, which we'll do a whole other podcast about that. I don't want to go into massive detail about that.
Great fucking movie.
But Get Out is
Great.
one of those movies that's just like this, to where we're like, hey, people wrote it off and thought it was a comedy, thought it was racially driven. It is racially driven, but it's because it's a social
Anthony.
satire.
Yo, hey, did you see Get Out? You have not. Go see Get Out.
Now
We
go
want-
see it. It'll be out on Tuesday, so I'm gonna rent it. Or
Okay, it's gonna come out on Tuesday. You can rent it. We're gonna have you on the next podcast. All right.
Tell 'em
he
we're
says
talking
good.
about him right now.
We're talking about you right now.
While
on,
recording.
on our current podcast. Yeah, we're recording right now. I was gonna put you on speakerphone and put you up to the thing, but I don't know how that's gonna come
It's
out.
gonna sound bad.
Yeah, it's gonna sound
tell
weird
him,
as hell.
Tell him what we're recording for, though. We're talking about.
All right. All right. Yeah, he says he can see it.
Okay, we're talking about Dear White People right now, the TV series. If you haven't watched that, get on that too.
Did you watch Dear White People yet? He says. he's
Okay,
going to.
good.
Have you seen the movie? Okay, have you seen the movie? Okay, so you get
Okay,
the
good.
general premise.
So
Start watching the show.
Tell him he has to listen to this episode
Yeah,
too.
you gotta listen to this episode. We'll have it up within the next few days.
Actually, it'll be up tonight.
Well, yeah, one will be up tonight. One will be up within the next 72 hours.
Yeah.
Rent, get out, come Tuesday, and then we'll hook up next weekend. Sound like a plan? Yeah. Awesome.
Cool. We'll get on that.
All right, I'm gonna hang up though because we're recording. All right, later. He sounded confused as fuck for a second. He was like, "Wait, what? What's happening?"
For those of you that don't understand, we're gonna have a special guest on our Get Out. It's gonna be my little cousin Anthony.
That's gonna be fun to listen.
We're gonna have
to
a
on the playback.
lot of people on the Get Out podcast.
We
'Cause
need to.
Jeannie's gonna be on it.
Actually,
John will be on
I
it.
feel a little bad doing this particular episode, just the two of us. It's a little one-sided. But
But like I said, we can always come back to
yeah,
it.
that's what's
Once Josh is free, once John actually watches
Yeah,
Dear White
I'll
People.
get a hold of him later and be like, "Yo, don't make plans for next weekend or whenever we're gonna hopefully next
Whenever I'm
weekend."
free, I work next weekend, but
Ah,
I get
shit.
off at 5 on Sunday, so it doesn't matter.
It's gonna be a weekend at some point
Yeah,
in the very near future.
yeah.
I hope we don't have another 3 or 4 month gap
We won't.
between.
We still need to get together and do Iron Fist yet too.
Oh yeah, man. There's so much we keep saying we need to do. There's just a lot in the media.
For those of you guys that are
Not
listening to this
getting
yet again,
decent
give us
record.
ideas. Tell us what you want us to talk about. Like, we do have some faithful listeners.
Not in book format, please. I mean,
Yeah, give us one, maybe a paragraph. Just tell us what you want us to talk about. But like, don't give us like this topic. But branch off into this, and branch off into this, and branch off into this, and branch. Oh, we're going to
you
cover
want-
entertainment. We are actually talking about adding a couple of channels to the podcast as well. We're talking about adding a sports show hosted by Jeannie and Cajun.
haven't decided what it's going to be called yet.
D will probably be on that one.
Yeah,
D will probably be on that. John will probably more than likely be on that.
I'm going to do my own romance segment. Feel free to ask me questions. It's going to be advice that you should never follow. But this is just a general idea.
John and Tony Capo, that's another plug, are probably going to be doing a comics one. Now that I said Tony out loud on the podcast, he has to do it.
And if you want to be on the show, I mean,
Yeah, let us know.
we're not famous or anything, but it's fun. We eat food.
Yeah, we eat, we talk
Plenty of
shit.
room on the new property. I mean, Injustice 2 just came out, so we'll probably beat you up a little bit.
Right. Tons
Tekken's coming out.
There's
I mean,
all kinds of stuff to talk about. I mean, any subject, generally any subject that you guys want us to cover, like geekery, non-geekery. We tend not to wax political because that'll just take like 5 or 6 hours. And like it's bad enough these shows are pretty long as it is.
and let's just be honest, most of us are too ready to fight over politics.
Right.
I mean,
Right. That's a blood burning situation.
just keep it.
So we try to keep it light.
I know we might make mostly me, a lot of Trump references, but I mean, they're meant in jest.
Right. Mostly.
Well, for the purposes of the podcast,
Right.
they're meant in
But I
jest.
mean, like anything you guys want us to talk about, like we're pretty much we're current with most pop culture. We're excited about a lot of things. I mean, it's a good decade to be a geek right now. I mean, fuck, we've got a Wonder Woman movie coming up in 2 weeks.
that is getting glowing reviews
Right,
right
and
now
it looks
from-
absolutely amazing. They're comparing it to The Dark Knight, which is probably my favorite Batman movie.
and
So
I'm finally starting to see Gal Gadot as Wonder Woman and not just as a chick who fell out that goddamn plane.
right.
Like, which is cool.
If you haven't seen Keeping Up with the Joneses yet with her and Zach Galifianakis, it's
I haven't
hilarious.
seen that.
Such a good movie.
I know you've probably seen this, but I don't know if some of you have seen Tracy Morgan's got a new stand-up.
I didn't watch it yet, but I did see
I
it's up.
haven't, I haven't watched it. I'm going to.
Yeah, that's on my list.
Again, it's just a great time to. It's just there's so
There's a
much shit
lot
out.
of stuff out and about. So, like I said, if you guys want us to talk about it, tell us about it. Please comment, like, subscribe, all that fun stuff. We actually have quite a few subscribers. I'm probably going to be separating the YouTube channel from my main YouTube channel. I'm making a Geektalk DW YouTube account for all of us to be in control of. So that way,
Technically, we have one since it's Google Plus and YouTube partnered.
right.
We just haven't.
I just haven't actually uploaded, but that just means I have to re-upload all those videos to that channel, which won't be that
No,
difficult.
it's
I'll be
not,
able to do
he's
it.
got like 80 megs now.
Yeah. Yay, internet.
Fucking routers the size of a small TV.
It really is. But yeah, anything you guys want us to talk about within reason. There's some shit that we will not talk about. So if you say something stupid, I'm not going to talk about it, and I'll call you out for saying something stupid. But hopefully this gets bigger, man. I mean, this is episode 6 or 7 now, 6.
Yeah.
because I just re-uploaded 4. We did 5 was Power Rangers. This will be 6.
Yeah, I wasn't kidding when I said please talk to us about this particular.
Yeah, especially this
episode.
one. And if you feel like, because it was just me and Cajun talking, that this was one-sided, I want to know your opinion.
Yeah, I mean, we could do. Look again. He said we could do a callback. We're going to do Get Out, which is. I'm not going to say it's the same premise,
Same subject matter.
same
though.
subject matter, same theme. It's more.
Very, very good social commentary disguised as a
Yeah.
horror movie.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. Oh, it's a great horror flick. If you're a horror fan, you're gonna want to listen to that. Jay, I'm talking to you.
Very, very suspenseful.
Matter of fact, I'm gonna throw out another shout out. Kill the Cast. My buddy Jay runs his own podcast. It's great. He's got T-shirts. He's got a logo. I'm gonna buy a T-shirt from him.
Awesome.
I'm gonna do that.
Plug.
Yeah.
You have to plug us on the show now.
Yeah. Right. I wonder if Omar's done us on his. I haven't listened.
I'm not even sure if he's listened to our show
I
yet.
was gonna say I didn't listen to his last one. He's got a new logo mural thing.
Yeah, I
back
saw
from
it. Tesla LeBaron art.
yeah,
Tesla art did that for him. That's awesome.
Yeah, there's another plug to somebody who's probably never heard any of these.
If I linked it to her, she'd listen to
Yeah,
it.
yeah.
But thank you guys for listening. I know we talked a lot. If you have any questions, comments, concerns, hit us up on Facebook. I be David Jackson, and with me as always,
Cajun Prime.
thank you. Keep on geeking on.